Good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Okay, so did you read the text? Yes. Amal, you got a punishment to read the textbook. Did you read? No. Yes. Yes. Yes means like this. Yes. This is no. So yes or no? Yes. He's feeling difficulty to move his head like that. Yes. Okay. So Aishita, did you understand IQ calculation? Yes. Raina, did you go through that?
I'm
That
reading.
you were reading. Okay. Okay. So this week you will have a test till the portion that we complete. I'm not telling the whole chapter, but till the portion that we complete in this chapter, you'll have a test. I'll let you know when you'll have the test, but keep studying and revising daily. Okay. This is very, very, very
Is it
serious.
oral?
I won't say that. It might be oral, it might be written, it might be mixed, anything. So study very well. If I feel like, then I'll put only the authors as well, on not the authors, the proponents and theory names only. Sometimes I'll put like that. Sometimes I'll just ask the theories. Sometimes I'll just ask one particular theory. So study everything together. Fine. And we'll study a small portion today and then we'll do some problems on IQ calculation. Okay? Yes. So the next topic will be the continuation of our what topic? Assessment of intelligence. Can you see the board?
Yes, ma'am.
This. Just see that figure given on the next page. What is given there? Somebody read out what the title of that figure is. Figure 1.2. What is it?
Normal curve pattern showing distribution of IQ scores in the population.
Yes, normal curve pattern showing IQ distribution. That is distribution of IQ scores in the population. Which means we have studied how to calculate IQ, isn't it? And now, in a population, what does population mean? What is population? What do you mean by population?
Number of people who live in a territory.
Yeah, number of people who live in an area. They are called, or as a collection, they are known as population. So, in a population, how much will be the average score? How much will be the distribution or the frequency of the people who belong to this particular level of IQ score? Hmm? That is calculated, and a general concept is made about that, the IQ score, the distribution of IQ scores. That is, suppose we take average intelligence. These many people in a population would have, generally, these many people would have average intelligence. Then we take borderline intelligence. These many people have borderline intelligence or IQ score. That is depicted in the form of the normal curve pattern showing distribution of IQ scores in the population. The normal curve pattern is the diagrammatic form which represents the normal distribution or distribution of IQ scores in a particular population. And what shape is that of that figure? Anyone? Look at that figure and tell me
A
what
hill shaped.
hill shape. Okay. Any other shapes that you can interpret? If you can modify that picture, can you interpret in some other way? Just see.
Triangle.
Triangle. Then I'm looking for something else.
Sand dunes.
Hand dunes. Okay. Then that's all. So usually it is called the bell curve. Bell curve. Bell shaped curve. Okay. And we'll read today. Rishma, start reading. Second paragraph in page number 11. Starting from IQ scores are distributed.
IQ scores are distributed in the population in such a way that the scores of most people tend to fall in the middle range of the distribution. Only a
Underline
few
that.
people have either very high or very low scores. The
Yes.
frequency distribution for the IQ scores tend to
Underline most of the people it falls in the middle range of the distribution. That is, IQ scores are distributed in the population in such a way that the scores of most people tend to fall in the middle range of distribution. Then only a few people have either very high or very low scores. So when you say that there is a very clever or intelligent or brilliant student in our class, then the chances that such people or people similar to that particular student exists in our population is higher or lower or equal to the average intelligence. What do you say?
Lower in number.
Lower, because people in average intelligence, that are those people are more common in the population. Okay, so for most of the people the IQ scores falls in the middle of the distribution, that we'll see here. Then continue. Who will read now? Aishwarya, read.
Only a few people have either very high or very low scores.
Underline that also.
The frequency distribution of the IQ scores
Hmm.
tends to appropriate
the
a
frequency distribution for the IQ scores tend to approximate a bell-shaped curve called the normal curve.
Rishwa, I think she's having some network issue. Okay, Aishwarya, continue. Read that sentence once more. The frequency distribution.
The frequency distribution for the IQ scores tend to appropriate a bell-shaped curve called the normal curve.
Approximate. Tend to approximate
A bell-shaped curve called the
called
normal
a
curve.
normal curve. Underline that. That's very important.
This type of distribution is symmetrical around the central value called the mean. The
Underline
distribution
that
of
also.
IQ
Called the
scores
mean. Called the mean. Then
The distribution of IQ scores in the form of a normal distribution is shown in figure 1.2. The
okay.
mean
What is a normal curve? One mark question comes. What is a normal curve? What will you write? Normal curve shows the distribution of
frequency
or the
distribution.
frequency distribution for the IQ scores. Okay, and it is symmetrical about the central value or the middle value. What is that central value called? Mean. Symmetrical means
Both sides are equal.
both sides are equal. If we cut into half through a plane, then both the sides look similar or equal. So just see that figure. What is the mean score there?
100.
100. to the left side of 100 and to the right side of 100, the curve looks similar, isn't it? Yes. So that is the frequency distribution or the normal curve. This is how you depict. So what you have to do is just like the way I've drawn on the board, draw one x-axis, draw one y-axis. On x-axis, write IQ scores. On y-axis, we'll write number of persons or number of people. Just draw in your book number of persons. Okay, this is going this side. This is going this side. And what values here? Here. Meeting point of x and y. What point is there?
0.
0. I'm drawing just a rough figure. Supposed to look similar. Okay. Should actually cross through this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, this point. So see, this is the mean. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 units on left and right side. This will be mean. So from the figure itself, you can understand the more number of people are on which number of persons is depicted on the y-axis. So more number of people are having average score. This is average. Average score. This will come up to 100 in the general population. Generally, we say most of the people or the average score of intelligence is 100 for normal people. The average score of IQ, the average IQ score is 100, and that will be here. That will be distributed along the central value, which is called the mean. Okay, then Meghna, continue.
The distribution of IQ scores in the form of a normal distribution is shown in the figure 1.2.
Hmm.
The mean IQ score in a population is 100.
Underline. The mean IQ score in a population. That is a general concept. Okay. If you get, say, an IQ of 102 or 103, that doesn't mean that you're not normal. Okay. The general concept is, or the mean or the average IQ score in a population is 100. That's it. Then.
People with IQ scores in the range of 90 to 110 have normal intelligence. Those with IQ below 70 are suspected to have intellectual disability.
Underline. And the range also, normal intelligence. The range of normal intelligence. The average is 100, but the range of normal intelligence means average intelligence is 90 to 110. 110, the score 110 is not included. 90 to 109, it comes to 90 to 109. So if you get a score of 110, then that means you're out of that range actually. Okay, 90 plus the values up till 109, they form the normal intelligence. Okay, continue. Those with IQ below 70. So below 70, underline that, suspected to have intellectual disability.
While persons with IQ above 130 are considered to have exceptional talents.
Talents.
The
Yes.
IQ score of a person can be interpreted by referring to table 1.1.
Yes, mark that table as very important. That is very, very important. The IQ range.
IQ range
Hmm.
above 130,
Hmm.
it, descriptive label very superior, person in the population 2.2,
Just
One-
read that 120 to 130 superior. That's it.
120 to 130 superior,
Hmm.
and 6.7.
Hmm.
All persons, should I continue the box?
Continue. Continue the box.
1110, 110 to 119, high average 16.1, 90 to 109, average 50.0,
Hmm.
80 to 89, low average 16.1, 70 to 79, borderline 6.7, below 70, intellectual disabled 2.2.
2.2. So that is the range of intelligence. If you get a high IQ score or an IQ value of 80, then what is your interpretation of intelligence?
Low average.
Low average. Your intelligence will be low average. If you get an IQ score of 125, what will be your interpretation?
Superior.
Superior. Then next is some 95. What will be your interpretation?
Average.
Average. This is how you interpret. So how will you calculate the IQ? You'll use the formula MA by CA into 100. From the intelligence test, usually from the intelligence test, we get a score called MA. What is MA?
Mental age.
Mental age. And what is mental age? How do you get mental age? Or give me an example for mental age.
If a child is of chronological age of 10 and if the child has a mental age of 12,
Then we say that
12 is the mental age.
12 is the mental age. Okay. The score that we calculate from any intelligence test, usually that is considered as mental age. We have so many tables and conversions and everything to do in an intelligence test. It's a pretty complicated thing, not easy like our Panasian test. Okay, it's very complicated as compared to the other paper and pen test. So what you have to do is when you get a score, then we calculate the mental age. We already get a mental age. With that, you know the chronological age, the biological age of the person, isn't it? You'll know it. And the formula is MA by CA into 100. 100 is a known value again. So if you apply MA there, then we have CA and 100 in hand. So we can calculate it easily. MA by CA into 100. And again, what is mental age? It is a measure of a person's intellectual development relative to people of his or her age group. It is intellectual development. Intellectual development means development of intelligence as compared to people of your age group. Understood? That is a person's intellectual development relative to means as compared to people of her or his age group. Understood? Now, so the general or the average value of intelligence score is 90 to
109.
90 to 109, or generally we say 90 to 110. Okay, then um, below 70. Below 70 is considered as intellectual
Disabilities.
disability. Above 130, 130, right? Yeah, above 130, that is considered as a different thing, that is intellectual giftedness. Mark that, intellectual giftedness. Below 70 will be intellectual deficiency or intellectual disability, and above 130 will be intellectual giftedness. Did you understand the normal curve? Yes. So just see here from that table. Below 70 it is considered as intellectual disabled, isn't it? So from here, from zero amount, we calculate the intelligence and it goes high. According to the values here, it goes high and comes to an average point. Then what happens? Comes down according to the number of people and the values here. So which means the people on the two ends, that is one with very low intelligence and one with very high intelligence. The both extremes will be, the number of people will be very low, isn't it? Here the height is very short. So most number of people are here on the average. That is what is described before. The more number of population or the more number of people in the population would be of average score. This one here. This is the place where both the axes meet, isn't it? So this is the place where most of the people fall into that category, and the less or the very less number will be on the two extremes with very low intelligence and very high, that is extreme intelligence. So in this side we'll have what? Intellectual disability or giftedness. Giftedness. Here we'll have giftedness. Here we'll have the low end of the deficiency or disability. Okay. Now again look at that figure. Can you see 0.70 on x-axis? Everyone? Ashish, did you see? On x-axis 0.70. Yes. And from 70 to 0, that is below 70, there is a heading given, intellectual deficiency. You see that? And there it is written mild, moderate, severe, and profound. They are the levels of intellectual deficiency or intellectual disability that we'll study later in this chapter itself. That is considered as mild, moderate. Mild means very less amount of intellectual deficiency. Then moderate, then severe, then profound. Profound means extreme level of intellectual deficiency. Mild, moderate, severe, and profound. They are the categories of intellectual disabilities or deficiency. Then the other factors in the classification of people on basis of IQ. In that table, we have other values. What are they? Very superior, superior, high, average, average, low, average, borderline, intellectually disabled. All these are marked in the normal curve. That curve is also important. Mark that. And fix your average on the middle itself. Number of units on the left and right side should be equal to describe average intelligence, which means on two sides of the average, they are symmetrical in nature. If you cut this Okay, so I was telling you about this. See, when we cut this normal distribution along the average, then this side as well as this side should be symmetrical, which means the number of people who belong to the category of IQ scores above average and the category of below average. That is factors below average, which means the low average, borderline, intellectually disabled, all those categories and the number of people and those IQ scores should be equal. Okay, did you understand the normal curve? Yes. And what is a normal curve? It shows the frequency distribution of number of people based on the IQ scores. And study that table. And person in the population, that also you should study. If you notice, you can see that you just have to learn 4 values. Person, number of people in the population, we already saw how it comes. How is the distribution, the normal curve? So the percentage of that is given on the rightmost side. So average will be 50% because they are in the middle, the central value. Okay, so 50% will be average. 16.1 would be high average and low average only, both the sides. Low average, high average. Towards the left side, we'll have low average of 16.1%. Towards the right, we'll have the high average of 16.1%. Then we'll have 6.7. Then we'll have 2.2. Okay, 6.7, then 2.2. Now we'll do some problems based on that equation, IQ equal to MA by CA into 100. Before that, is there any doubt till this portion?
Ma'am, won't it change according to different countries, like more literate countries and less literate?
What will change?
The average value.
Yes, average value can change. That is why we have the norms. Remember I told you norms? Norm tables are used for comparison. Also, I told you about standardization. Psychological tests are standardized tests. Remember, we studied standardized and objective tests. Why are we standardizing that? Because it changes from different culture to culture, the different place to place. So because of that, if we are using one test, then we have to see if it is standardized in India or standardized for the Keralites. Sometimes it will be standardized only in the US. So it's applicable only to the population of US. So the norm table will be based on the US population. Understood? So before we use a test, we have to see if it is standardized. If it is standardized generally, then if it is standardized for a population, if it is standardized for a particular age group, sometimes it will be applicable only for adults, for people above the age of 18. So it cannot be used for children or teenagers. Understood? So we have to see, we have to be careful while using the intelligence test. Any test, not only intelligence test, any test, we have to see if it is standardized in the population, standardized for that people of that area, standardized for that particular age, and so on. Okay. So, any other doubt? Below 70, it is what? Intellectual disability or deficiency. Above 130, it is intellectual giftedness. That we'll study in the next class because we have a portion to study about that. After that, we'll move on to types of intelligence test. That's very easy. You have already studied. So, any other doubt? No. Then take out your books. We'll do some problems. Three questions are there. And first question, this is first case, this is the second case. You have class till 9:30, right? Yeah. First question is find the IQ. There are two cases in which you have to find the IQ. In first case, MA equal to 5, CA equal to 10. In second case, MA equal to 18, CA equal to 36. The second question, if IQ equal to 120, CA equal to 5, find MA. You have to find MA with the same equation itself. And third question, you have to find CA. MA and IQ are given. First two are very direct question. The other one you'll have to bring 100 to this side or bring something other to other side and then calculate. Do step by step, then you'll get it correct. Who developed the cognitive assessment system?
J.P. Guilford.
No. I think you were not there, Aishwarya. Others who developed the cognitive assessment system, CAS.
Williams,
Huh? William
William Dern or
Stern.
Williams.
No.
J.P. Das and Nagiri.
Yeah, JP Das and Nagledi. In the previous page, you have CAS, Cognitive Assessment System. Just underline that and keep if you haven't. Cognitive Assessment System is a battery of tests. Battery of tests means there are so many tests included in that. That was developed based on this PASS model. Don't forget that, okay? PASS model is a very complicated and it's a very big thing. So we'll forget that was CAS at the last. Don't forget that it's cognitive assessment system. And for the board exam, unfortunately, the questions will come from things that we don't notice generally. Okay. So CAS, mark it, you will forget or you will ignore it while studying the other important theories. Cognitive assessment system. It's not a system as such, it is a collection of tests. Collection of tests means we call it battery. If only one cell is there, one electric cell is there, we call it a cell, an electric cell. If one or more electric cell, two or more electric cells come together, we call it a battery. Okay, I teach this in science and now. Okay, do the problem. Finished, Reina? Doing. Do you want the equation? IQ equals MA by CA into 100. In these two cases, you just have to change the values, apply the values there in the equation. Second one also, you just have to apply the values, the one which you can't find, the values that you have, take it all together to one side, then you'll get the other side. Wait, we'll do the find the answers after everybody finishes. You all want to continue the online classes or come back to school? What do you guys prefer? Offline. Fed up of sitting at home? Anybody who still wants online class? Psychology students, we'll discuss the answer later. Okay. I hope you have got all the questions. If not, I'll send it to you. Okay, thank you.